The Long Good Friday. Yes, folks, let's get into it. Let's talk about a gangster film. Literally, one of the most influential and interesting gangster films to come out of the 80s. And there's so many, but this one is the English one. I think watching this for the first time, this is my first time watching The Long Good Friday. I just saw every single British director or creator who's going to go on to make a Netflix original series that's inspired by this thing. You just get that. I think John Mackenzie just has such a visual flair in this movie. And you get a whole generation of talent that's going to come out of this being like, oh man, that's how we can depict London? Okay, I want to do it that way. This movie is really cool. I don't think it's by all means the best of the genre, but it is just so deliberate and eloquent while talking about grimy and dirty people who are terrible and just the worst in the world. I love the dichotomy of that. Look at this. We're trying to strive for class. We're building a place where the Olympics could be. But actually, we're just dirty, grungy people who go to an abattoir and hang you upside down and say, I'm gonna gut you. The most Cockney accents you've ever heard on screen. This movie rocks. I had so much fun with it. I got the 4K from Criterion. I keep saying about these physical media releases that I'm getting because I think this is now one of my definitive ways to watch these types of movies because it's just beautiful transfers and restorations all around. I know this would be good if you just casually threw it on because it was playing on a channel or something, but the DVD just looks great, man. I love it. I love the way this is looking. So this movie is about a crime boss named Harold Shand. He is played by Bob Hoskins. We haven't talked about Bobby on the channel yet. I'm a massive fan of this guy. Of course, being from a younger generation, the movies I know him primarily from are the Super Mario Bros. Movie and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, two films I definitely want to cover on this channel at some point. But this is also just the other side of him, which is the Shakespearean legend, this type of British actor who is just so precise and able to just dictate their language in a very specific way. This is modern Shakespeare, in my opinion. There's just tragedy and triumph and all this torment going around and everything. It's really beautiful. So before we get into the stuff with Bob, let's just do the setup, because the setup's actually important for everything this movie's going to be. We open up, we are in London, and we are seeing a couple of just random things happening. This guy has a suitcase full of money. He takes a little bit of money out of it. We find out that this guy is Colin, and he goes on this merry time where he is a gay man who is trying to hook up all the time, so he takes a little bit of money from this briefcase. The briefcase gets passed around to other people. It ends up in the hands of certain guys in this old house. All those guys get killed. Let's just stop it there. All those guys get killed, right? The guys that get the briefcase from Colin, they die. We then have some people at a train station getting a coffin off of a train, and a woman is waiting there as the coffin gets loaded into a vehicle. They start to drive away. They go to this cafe where the guy that gave the briefcase earlier to Colin is waiting. His name is Jeff. Jeff is sitting at this cafe. The woman who is following this coffin gets out of the vehicle and spits on him. And then we just go from there. So a lot of things happening. People are dying. Money's being stolen. There's angry women. All of this is important because it's going to come back into play towards the end of the movie, which is really smart because by the time this stuff comes back, you forget that it was the opening of the movie. Because then we just cut to Bob Hoskins coming home from the airport. He was in New York. He's a big London gangster. He just got off a big meeting in New York. He brought a couple of New York mafia guys with him. So some of the American mafia is coming back to do dealings with him. They're going to get on a really nice boat, have a party, because Hoskins is buying some real estate by the shoreline or the docks in London where they're going to build the stadium for the 1988 Olympics. That's his plan. He runs a casino. The casino's doing good. He is a gangster, but he's also trying to break into actual good business stuff. Not being a criminal gangster stuff, but legit proper business. So he wants to get the Olympics to London. This movie is just full of gorgeous docks and people on like just like coastal area, big old barges and shit. It just looks amazing. Half this movie is people walking by a wharf just talking about how messed up the situation is. It's incredible. And Hoskins plays this guy so freaking well. He just looks like a normal human being. I know that's so weird to say, but that's what I love about these types of movies, especially when your casting director is just so willing to commit to just random faces. You get so many normal looking guys. There's nothing like virtually scary on the surface of Hoskins in this. He's dressed like a normal dad, just like a guy who like, this is my boat, I'm going to wear a white jacket and just exist here. But everyone in the room knows he's the most powerful person here, so he doesn't have to present like it. As that's going on, his mother is being escorted to church. She's being driven by a guy named Eric. And then a couple of events happen. When we're on the boat, we're introduced to Helen Mirren, who is the love interest in this story. She plays Victoria. She's so gorgeous. She is so gorgeous. Just a really beautiful woman who is so fully aware of the world that we're a part of. And she's like, I'm not scared of it. It's going to get a little intense eventually, but as it stands right now, there's nothing I'm uncomfortable with being a part of. This is all working for me. So we get on the boat. Our American Mafia guys show up. We're just trying to get them interested in investing in building the stadium. We're investing in London's future. You're investing with me. I'm not an actual gangster. I'm just trying to do this thing. As that's going on, two things happen. Colin, who stole the money from this briefcase, he is at the swimming pool. He is trying to get it on with a guy, and that guy shivs him and kills him. And then Eric, who is the person that was driving Harold's mother, he gets in the car and there's a car bomb and he blows up. Things are happening that are now affecting Harold's business, and he thinks these are coordinated attacks, which they are. And that becomes the primary focus of this movie. Somebody is going after Harold's entire operation on the most important business day of his life. He's got to get to the bottom of it. So then we just spend the next hour or so of this movie following Harold and his guys going around the city trying to figure out what's happening. They uncover the bodies. They go to like the local haunts, like what's going on here. They uncover a briefcase that was a bomb in the casino that didn't go off because it was stopped that way. We're introduced to Parky, who's like their guy on the take for the Force. And he's like, you're just walking around with like a bomb you found. I can have my guys look at it. He's like, no, you can't have your guys look at this. You got to go off the board for this so we don't want anyone rousing suspicion. I'm trying to close a deal for the Olympics. Like, come on, man. Unbelievable. And I want to point out what Mackenzie's doing with the directing here. And this might just be like director of photography too. It's very handheld. We are just kind of like moving around locations to follow these guys. It's really beautiful how we're doing that. It just feels very invasive and like we're part of this crew trying to uncover this mystery. All the while we're trying to hide this from the American Mafia so we can actually accomplish this goal. This leads to them going to a dinner at this restaurant that Harold owns. And as they're driving up, another explosion happens. The top of the building explodes. And now it's getting real. Something very dangerous is actually happening here. We got to figure out what that is. Harold needs to get to the bottom of this before more people get killed. So he's going to round up all the usual suspects. We get a really interesting sequence as he tells his wife to go deal with the Americans at like a different dinner. I'm going to round up all my guys. So like 20 guys are going to get in a room with me. I'm going to tell them, you get every piece of shit you know. You round them up, take them to the abattoir. We're going to hang them from the ceiling. We're going to beat them up a little bit and just say, if you're fucking with me, I'm going to kill you right now. It's amazing. It's just so interesting to see how fast we go from, I'm a normal businessman. Look at me in my nice little jacket to, okay, I'm a gangster. Everyone grab a gun from this. Look, when you're done with the gun, hopefully you don't have to use it because we want to keep this quiet. You bring it back here or you're going to get fucking killed too. Of course, it's the American Mafia, so they are well aware of the things that are happening to Harold. And Helen Mirren, the unsung hero of this piece, she is asked to do some interesting stuff. It works a lot because compared to other mafioso wives, she actually is a part of the business and aware of the stuff going on. and she's comfortable to be a part of that until it gets a little too real. We're also introduced to another man in this sequence. His name is Harris. Harris is going to come up later, but just know there's a lot of moving parts. Eric and Colin are dead. We have other guys working here for Harold, like Jeff, who we mentioned earlier. Now we have Harris. We also have Razor, who's got like razors all over his body. He interrogates a guy who is like, he sells like drugs on the streets, and maybe he has something to do with the incidents happening with Colin, because Colin like frequented like his place to buy drugs. They cut this guy's ass. Like, that is so visceral. I don't know why that made me so uncomfortable. But like, you just see like a slash go across that guy's butt and blood leaks out of it. It is pretty intense, man. Razor cut a guy. It's very intense and scary. This city just looks beautiful. And you know, I've never been to London. I've only been to Europe a couple times. Well, one time, but multiple countries within there. There's something about London, I think in this period in particular, where everything just feels just so grungy and grimy. And it's like a city that wants to evolve to be like one of the nicer places in the country. Maybe I'm completely off base there, but I get the sense like this is kind of about how the perception of London is about to change culturally into something different, and like these types of guys are on their way out. Maybe I'm off base there, but I think that's like a key element that we're playing with here as well. It is so interesting to see that and to handle that in such a unique way. I just love the accent work, man. It is as Cockney as you can get. These guys are not holding back. And I know this movie is not made for an American audience, but it's so interesting to just fully sit down and listen to the way these guys are talking. I can understand it fine. I think if you have a little hard of hearing, you might be put off a little bit, but I just dig it so much. We're not trying to hide it. These just look like normal guys. Hoskins has the most insane hair ever. He's got the widow's peak, and he's balding at the top. Dude, that's how I want to look when I'm his age. Every day I wonder if I should just shave it all off because I'm going pretty bald. Just knowing that he is here committing to this is amazing. I'm trying to think of who a modern equivalent of Hoskins would be in this. I guess it would be like a Stephen Graham, right? I think like this tough looking British actor who's just full of like pathos and has so much like empathy to the world around him and can play vulnerable in these different ways. I think that's it. I think he'd be the equivalent, I would say. Maybe Tom Hardy a little bit, but Hardy's a little more like Venom-y. Well, Hoskins was Mario. Whatever. So let's just cut to the chase a little bit. We do have a sequence after we see Victoria takes out the Americans to dinner where she goes back to her apartment, and Jeff, who's like the right-hand man to Harold, tries to hit on her. He's like, I want to lick every inch of you. And she's like, get out of my apartment, buddy. So what is actually at stake here? What is happening? Who is coming after Harold and these things? Well, we reveal through the stuff with Parky when he meets him at the abattoir that it's the IRA. It's the Irish, I don't know what the IRA stands for, but the Irish people are involved with this. What does that have to do with Harold and his people? Well, since Harold went away to New York, Jeff was in charge, and Jeff had something that Harris and Colin had to deal with. So they got themselves a driver to go head down to a place in Ireland, and when that happened, the driver gets killed, and Colin stole some money from them that was supposed to go to the IRA. So this is all about $5,000. And we confirm this because Harold eventually meets the woman who spit on Jeff at the beginning, because her husband is the one that died when Colin and Harris had to go deal with the IRA. So this leads to the confrontation between Harold and Jeff. Now, this is my first time watching this movie, so it's kind of obvious that it's somebody within the organization that we don't really know who's the mastermind. The problem is, Jeff's the only viable one it could have been unless it was Victoria or the Americans. And since we're not really going that direction with it, it could only be Jeff. So I don't know if it's like a big reveal that Jeff orchestrated the events that led to everything transpiring and how he's just kind of doing it for the accolades and to like climb on like the rung of this industry. I don't know if that's like a shocker, but it's well crafted. Like, we saw all the beats in motion. Like, this is the beginning of the movie. Is the money being exchanged to these people? We see Colin skim some, And it goes from there. Like, we set this up. And how could it ever be Jeff? Why would Harold ever think it's Jeff? And it leads to, like, the breaking in this beautiful scene where Hoskins is he's just doing Shakespeare, just monologuing at Jeff, and he stabs him numerous times with a broken bottle, and he kills Jeff. And he starts freaking out, and it's Victoria who tells him, you have to calm down. You now know it's Harris. Use that and solve this problem, which is really interesting and so well handled. So then we go to, like, a roller derby or something where we're just crashing cars all over the place. And we go to the guy who's working for the IRA, and we meet him in his location. We got all the funds. Everything's going to be paid for. This whole situation's taken care of. Okay, I know some of you guys died, but that wasn't my fault. That was Jeff's fault. We're all going to get through this. And then it's a big setup, and this sequence is awesome because it kind of just comes out of nowhere. You think Hoskins is going to just, like, handle this situation, and then suddenly Razor opens the door. Everybody gets blown up. People fall out of, like, the side of this glass window onto the track where the cars are. The cars start crashing into each other, and they blow up. And it's just almost comedic, but it's just like, all right, problem solved. Let's move on with our lives. But because this whole situation unfurled, now the Americans don't want to do business with this London gangster, and it's more waxing poetic from Hoskins, where he's like, oh, you all think you're so prim and proper. That was terrible Cockney, but you know what I mean. He's like, you fucking losers. I don't want to work with you anyways. London means something. England's awesome. London's awesome. America sucks. I hate you all. Get bent. And he storms out of the hotel, just ready to get on with his life. And that's when we get the really, really good ending to this movie, which is Hoskins getting in what he thinks is his car. And as it starts to drive away, it speeds up, and he's like, what's going on? And who turns around with a gun pointed at him but a young Pierce Brosnan, who is playing a member of the IRA, and it's all been a setup. More violence happened. You can't beat the Irish, man. They're going to get you no matter what. And we hold for so long on Hoskins' face as he goes through various emotions of, this is stupid, I can't believe this happened. It's kind of funny that this happened, and damn it, this whole situation could have gone way better. Fuck my life. He plays that in so many different moments. This movie is so entertaining. It's guys walking and talking and driving and getting in and out of vehicles and hallways, but it's so fascinating and well crafted. The score is very synth, it's very 80s. It almost doesn't fit this movie, but that kind of is what makes it special. And I just love everything we are seeing. It's so well crafted. The violence is very real. The characters are very real. Hoskins delivers a brilliant performance. A brilliant performance. You're just watching a guy go through everything. And you're watching one of the best actors of his craft just command the screen as this normal looking guy who's very on the edge and so aware of the destruction happening around him. I love this take on London. I like this take so much on this world. And to think this is about a guy who wants to turn London into like an Olympic city is so fascinating when it's about the gringy, grimy crime of this broken city and the people that inhabit it. Kind of awesome. It's kind of awesome. Just so unique and inspires so many people to come after it. I love this so much. And if you haven't seen The Long Good Friday, this is like a movie that takes place over 2 days and the world falls apart in realistic handheld footage and just corruption and chaos all around. It's really incredible. And a young, sexy Helen Mirren and a young, sexy Bob Hoskins. What more do you want from a movie? In a gangster flick like this, it's incredible. So, folks, that is going to do it for this episode of Dynamic Tales. Thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And, of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.